All right, folks, good evening. It's another Friday here, and here we are at a hangout for journalists. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, service chiefs meet with Buhari, demand more weapons to fight insecurity. Many wounded as police clash with CAN members in Adamawa State, protesting herdsmen killings. And later on, we'll share this with you. Electricity distributors, who we call discos, continue attacks on the Minister of Power. They say they are ready to quit resale firms at discounts. But then let's meet the hangout mates. Charles Ideho is here.
Yes, thank you very much.
I greet you, Charles.
Thank you.
Afolabi Akinola.
Yes.
The
It's
proud
a pleasure,
Oshun boy. And of course, we have another Oshun guy here. Shola Ojewushi.
It's a pleasure.
No. Did I say she? Ojewusi.
Ojewusi.
Okay,
It's a C,
sorry.
not a she. It's a C.
So as you can see, Jide is an MIA for today. All right.
This is in action.
Okay, we'll tell you on Monday. But then the team is ready. I hope you are. Let's tell you that a violence-free and terror-ridden environment are not utopian ideals. They are critical to peace and national development. By meeting the commander-in-chief behind closed doors, security chiefs in the country are raising the bar in the ongoing efforts at tackling security challenges across the country. Defense Minister Mansour Danali, National Security Advisor Babagana Mongono, Chief of Defense Staff Gabriel Olonishakin, Chief of Army Staff Tukur Burutei, Chief of Naval Staff Ibok Ekwe Ibas, Chief of Air Staff Sadiq Abubakar, plus the IG Ibrahim Idris, DSS boss Lawal Daura, and SGF boss Mustafa, all in attendance, drew attention to a lack of equipment to sustain the tempo in the campaign. Now, our collective security is a moral imperative here. Charles, we couldn't agree.
Same thing here. I quite agree with them because these are trying times where the nation right now is at a crossroad. You really can't see where the problems are coming from. Thankfully, we've been able to sort out, or relatively so, the issue of Niger Delta, the unrest over there. Imagine if we are still dealing with that for now, coupled with the insurgency in the northeast, and then banditry in Zamfara, Kaduna, that's the Benigwari Aziz, and so on. You imagine what the nation could have been faced. But I think, for instance, the military that have been charged with responsibility of ensuring peace, internal peace, externally as well, whatever they need to ensure that we continue to live in peace so that people can pursue their business without without fear, they should be given. I remember last year when during the National Economic Council that the Vice President chaired, there was this issue that was mooted about the release from the SS crude account about $1 billion. Look,
which split opinion?
Yes, that's right. Even National Assembly said no, that they are the only ones considered that have the right to appropriate such money. Even the media also joined the fray. No, but perhaps if that had been done, I'm sure that this issue could have been. I mean, we ought to have seen some semblance of peace around here. But having said that, I want to appeal to the military. Whatever they need to be given, if they are given, let us leave politics out of this system. Because I do know whether you like it or not, there are people who are feeling fat. I keep saying that every day, people who are feeling fat from this unrest. We must look at Nigeria as the variety of Nigeria as something we need to pursue. Leave your personal aggrandizement or personal interest. Let us look at Nigeria as the be-all and end-all of all of us here. So that when we can go about, you can travel to Borno, you can travel everywhere without any fear. That's exactly what I think the military should be looking at. Let the authorities give them what they want. If that is what they want to bring about an end to this insurgency and insecurity system, I think I will applaud it. And then
Afolabi, take stock. Insurgency, militancy,
armed banditry,
kidnapping and all, these are all man-made.
Yes.
But what I'm coming to is this. Every year, defense will take a lion's share of the national budget. So why are we here? Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, very well. We are in a very, very touching and sad
And
moment.
every state governor has a defense, a security vote.
Security vote. We're in a very, I think again, let's look at it clearly. We are not fighting foreigners. We must get this clear. We are in a war where Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria. We have a military, to me, the way I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing high level of conspiracy, even from the military point of view. This thing has been fully commercialized.
You are not being a theorist now.
This thing has been fully commercialized. There is a commercial angle to this argument. Remember, even if you have all the equipment, the will, I think we have to change the game. There was a time we introduced whistleblowers for Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Because there are people who sponsor these dangerous activities against the corporate existence of Nigeria from within.
Afolabi brings to mind here intelligence gathering, which should be key here.
Yes, intelligence gathering must also be guided by high level of patriotism and sincerity. I can gather intelligence in a conspiratorial manner to sabotage the effort of the because there are some military guys that were even sympathetic to the cause of Boko Haram. Let me remind you of this. Shekhar was speaking both in Arabic and Hausa language fluently. And language sometimes has a close...
By the way, is the guy alive?
We're told he has line like he always spent two of the like.
At least he has people who support his vision. So if
we need a system.
Well, I'm asking because the last time I heard he was mortally wounded or something.
And also
his ideas,
terminally ill.
His ideas against the corporate coexistence of Nigeria has been planted. So for us to uproot this idea is a collective will of all Nigerians. When people are talking about Euro-American society, their patriotism, if you marry a Briton today, if he discovers that you are a kidnapper and you are doing anything dangerous against our own country, despite the fact that she has issues for you, she will be the first person to go and report. Please, let us establish this. Somebody that you got married to legally.
That's patriotism.
And she realized that you are becoming a dangerous threat
to her country.
To her own country. She will be the first person to go and report to. But here we have people who derive pleasure in, of course, doing dangerous things against the corporate coexistence of Nigeria. And meanwhile, we are talking about foreign investment. We are talking about so many things that would have been an advantage to Nigeria. So I'm seeing this angle from being commercialized. And at a time now, this issue is even coming up when the National Assembly and the executive is not even having a robust atmosphere. I mean,
I know Shola is not, I like him very much because he's not talkative. He doesn't waste words. He goes straight. Shola, a phrase that comes to mind here is marketplace security. What do I mean? The police is planning an operation. The next you know is the operation plans are on the pages of newspapers. And we are fighting insurgency.
Well, that's, going back to what I was saying about commercializing things, and then you're talking about strategies. You have to know that when you have already a plan that's in the marketplace, then it's not going to work. But I'm going back to the issue of the weapons. I don't think there is anything backed in the meeting that was held, all the security chiefs coming. There is a Yoruba proverb that says, the man with the deep set...
talk for Yoruba.
Yoruba says, atokere. Loloju jijin ti mu ekun sun. The man who has the deep set eye, who has a kind of gorge in his eyes, will start crying from far off. Let's say the person is going to mourn with people. So that by the time he gets to where he's going to mourn, at least the tears will come out. So you plan ahead. Don't forget that we're going into election year. There will be some level of escalation in terms of the security of Nigeria.
Man-made?
Yes.
Man-made?
Yes, man-made. But then, man also has to produce a kind of situation where the man-made problem will be handled properly with man-made weapons. But in a situation where in Zamfara, in Sokoto, what happened recently, there was this story of the insurgents, the bandits, out-weaponing the security agencies. So something has to be done to make sure that that element of not having enough to confront this is handled. But good. Now going back to my colleague, if you have these weapons Is it for the good of the people? Is it altruistic? Are you asking for this thing because of a particular altruistic purpose? For the good of the people, pro bono publico, like they say. Is it for the good, or is it because of the tender? Because we don't want to go back to the situation when maybe after a few years, all these security chiefs will now be in the court of law answering questions about what they spent the money. So we have to look at it beyond mere rhetorics. Is it altruistic? Is it for the good of the nation? Then if it's the case, go ahead. But it has reached a situation where all hands must be on deck. We cannot overlook the fact that there is a need for us to secure the land. We are going into election, and we have to do the right thing to make sure that whatever is expected to happen will not happen. I think that's my own take for the time being.
Charles, looking at the lineup of personnel at the secret meeting, there was no odd man out.
No, because they
had always been there.
Yes.
You know, we had broached this a number of times at this table. Internal security of the country, the first line of operations lies with the police, but we have a castrated police.
I mean, are you surprised?
Am I surprised?
I like that one.
The thing is, look, if you look at the operations of police today, first of all, the police personnel themselves, how well are they being taken care of? We've heard a number of times that a highly placed police will collect so amount of money from this and that, and it doesn't go to the rank and file. And it is the rank and file you will need to actualize all the, if no matter how the top brass will plan an operation, without the rank and file, there's no way they can achieve success. Because Tuku Burata is not going to carry AK-47 and go to the war front. He will need that recruit, he will need that sergeant, he will need that corporal, he will need that last corporal, he will need WO2, all of them, to be able to procure, to be able to pursue all these ideas. Theirs is just at the back room. There are people who are at the forefront. If you don't take care of them, morale will be down. There's no way they will have this zest to go out there and fight it.
Charles, no less so for the military, the soldiers.
No, it goes across. Yeah. Have you not seen, did we see any mutiny? Have you not heard of mutiny recently? Yeah. What causes mutiny in the military? It is lack of this adequate care for the men of the Nigerian army. But I also want to say this, sir, that you talked about the issue of the marketplace. You talk about. Look at when they were planning the operation last hold.
Marketplace approach to security.
What were you hearing? They had a press conference. The whole media representatives were brought. They were telling them what they were going to be doing. I never heard in the U.S. when Osama bin Laden was being pursued everywhere. I never heard where the military. I mean, I'm a media man. I never heard when they had a press conference. They were telling them what to do. All we heard was that. We didn't even know they were even after him.
Charles,
before you knew they caught him.
The Pakistani government, Afolabi will agree, or remember too, was aghast when the operation took Osama bin Laden out.
I said they will get him, but they never knew. So why do you have to release the information
to... Not here.
I think, again, I must give kudos to the intelligence of the U.S. security commandos. Because even at that point in time, Obama and everybody, Hillary Clinton, they were in the intelligence room, watching the operation.
But nothing went to
watching
the
operation from. I think we have to understand the meaning of patriotism and sincerity when we are fighting in defense of a nation. I think, again, most of the people who join military today and Nigerian police did not prepare for this mission. I'm sure Nigerian
military, I agree with you.
In the last 15 years, never envisaged the kind of challenge we have today. So people just feel that because there is no job much, we need to look at the fact, the basis of why people are engaged in Nigerian police and military. Because there's no unemployment.
People go to join the police force and the army on impulse.
In fact,
nothing else.
To even legalize hooliganism. Because you have to be on uniform to legalize rascality, to legalize illegality. Let's just put it that way. So I want a situation where what you join, what you swear to an oath to even belong to is with the will.
That's it.
How many Nigerian police, why do you think people don't respond to distress police, distress call? Why they call?
Why police don't respond to distress calls? Yeah.
Because look, they will not hide well. You understand what I'm saying?
If they die, they are gone. That's it.
Because nobody wants to die anyhow. So I believe on this note that the corporate coexistence of Nigeria is my concern, because the Nigeria of our dream is being threatened, not by foreigners. We must note, within. Not by foreigners, from within.
Afolabi, and all these in peacetime, supposed peacetime. Shola, at this point, you're looking at, the meeting has held. You expect the commander-in-chief, who is the chief security officer, to do something, and time is of the essence.
It's very important.
Time is of the essence.
It's very important. Yeah, I think, let's go back to that initial
I don't
issue.
expect all the people who were at the meeting to tell us anything. Let's feel them.
But look at the composition of that meeting. It shows it's at the highest level of
A-list.
It shows, they understand the magnitude of what is at stake. And I think the buck stops on the president's table now, because a lot of things will happen. Whether we like it or not, what has been happening in the past 1 week or so has also frayed a number of nerves, to the extent that we have to be very careful the way we handle our security. And if these people, they are the ones who have been interacting with the guys on the field, they know what they really need. Now, it's our right as a country, or our responsibility, to make sure that they have enough to be able to confront whatever varieties of problems they're going to face, from the insurgents, from the bandits, from the militants, and also from the thugs who will rear their heads when the election and electioneering...
When they're in season.
So I think it's not something to joke, but I will go back to what it says. There is a difference between weaponry and the psychology of weaponry. If you want to get somebody in harm's way, is there enough that is being given to motivate the person you are putting in harm's way? So while you are talking to the commander-in-chief about the need to have weapons, are you also talking to the commander-in-chief about the need for the welfare of the person to handle the weapons?
I hold you there, because Mahmoud wants to talk with us. Good. Mahmoud, Niger State, we welcome you.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Oh, thank you.
All right, bravo.
Sir, please, based on this topic of motion, sir, instead of demanding more weapons, the army chief demanding more weapons, I think it is now the responsibility of the federal government to give more weapons to the police. Because if you look at the security of the country, particularly the internal security, the communities today that are suffering, how many soldiers, how many efforts, or how many victims do we have in those communities? So instead of demanding more weapons for the police, for the army, land army, Air Force and others, the police should be more secured, and the police should be provided with more equipment, because they are more closer to the masses.
Yeah, Mahmoud, next time when you get through, just be away from the TV set. Yes. I know you like to hear you, but thank you. First
I even have a submission here. I even have a submission. Even in a football match, even when you have good players, during halftime, don't you change players? The best players in the world have been changed severally.
When you find they are flagging.
Yes. Yeah, you can change players. So the idea of using the same set of people, the same intelligence guidance to pursue a course
set of people
to pursue a multi-dimensional issues that is coming from all different kinds, to me is not even clear enough. And secondly, the issue of our borders should be taken seriously. No serious nation in the world can operate as far as security, intelligence, and all that is concerned without taking into consideration the borders, the porosity of the border of the Nigerian nation.
Can I let me respond to what Mahmoud said, that we should rather be calling the issue to equip police. He's right, but in this case, the matter is beyond the police, because police is for the internal. You have to secure the external for the police to be able to do optimally internally. So if you equip the police and then we're having problems from all their borders talking about, we were told that we have up to about 1,400 or so borders in Nigeria. But how many have been police? So
illegal
borders.
Over 800.
So if you equip the police and then we're having this insurgency from all our borders, what are we going to do? So it's a complementary effort between the police and the other security agencies. But we must equip the ones that are fighting for the security of the external.
I agree.
There can be no gainsaying, and Shola will agree with this.
Yes.
There can be no gainsaying the fact that the police is key in preserving the internal.
That's right.
There's
It's their job. It is their job.
Because look, my state, Akwa Ibom, is in the news, even if for the wrongest of reasons. Just last Saturday, I can tell you here, authoritatively, soldiers from the nearby Ibawa barracks invaded a village at a place called Iwukem. That's on the boundary with Rivers State. Because a soldier was killed and three villagers. Of course, the military went there and sacked the village. And this is performed by suspected cultists, which had been there. So the police is key here. We had all along been scapegoating the police. Equip the police. All of these things would have been nipped in the bud.
Yeah, I agree. I also
Let's start from somewhere,
yes,
but that's the point I'm
there
making.
There should be a kind of close-knit interaction amongst the different forces.
The synergy.
There should be.
Synergy.
You know, what I can call the interforce esprit de corps.
Okay.
Because imagine a situation where the army, the police always clashing. When you are facing a serious threat, you know, the military chiefs, the Air Force, the Navy, the land forces that had the meeting with the president.
The civil defense.
They were there.
Right.
They must have studied the threat matrix and understood that, okay, at this level we have to go beyond what we are using for the time being. And when you want to have this, for us to be able to get coordinated and face a common enemy, there must be synergy, like you said. The esprit de corps should not be limited to the intra forces. It should be the police, the military, all of them should have to come together.
We'll bury it there, but all of us here feel tempted to loan you to the security agency. No, it's all right. But,
I love that.
But still to come, many wounded as police clash with Christian Association of Nigeria members in Adamawa State protesting herdsmen's killings. Please stay with us. Okay then, welcome back. Without as much of a doubt, a very strong case can be made for our religious leaders to speak on political issues, only they must be guarded in their homilies or preachments. The police in Adamawa State reportedly clashed with a peaceful procession of Christian Association of Nigeria members in the state capital, Yola. The march, we are told, was suspected to have been hijacked by hoodlums. Now, CAN insists it intimated the police with the planned march, but the security people advised against it, given the volatile situation in the country and the environment, if you like. But word had gone out before the march could be stopped, according to the police. Meanwhile, here are some reactions from Adamawa State regarding the issue. Please watch on.
Our purpose is to say no to shedding or to the shedding of innocent blood, either Christians or Muslims. No to the invasion of communities. We don't want people to be killed. We don't want Fulani people to be killed. We don't want Pachama people to be killed. We don't want Gula people to be killed. We don't want any Nigerian to be killed.
They were throwing tear gas at us. Look at me. They were throwing tear gas at us. You understand? A lot of people are down there. Some have been taken to the hospitals. We came out on the peaceful demonstration.
Adamawa State has been, exempted from the state that killings has been taking place. We want to ask why. That is why the youth want to go on the street and ask why. We want to ask questions.
We are here for solidarity. We are here on behalf of our brothers and sisters. Our parents are dying. We are dying.
The chairman wrote, that is the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Adamawa State chapter, he wrote to the command requesting for this peaceful protest. Security meeting was held earlier on. He was called and he was asked to see reason why it is not going to be approved, looking at the fact that Adamawa and the Northeast, Adamawa in particular rather, we've been experiencing this kind of crisis, and we thought it's not wise at this material point in time to go on this protest. But unfortunately, the message has been passed across to the members, the followers, and as you can see for ourselves, the procession or the protest was carried out, and unfortunately, some of the miscreants around tried to hijack the situation and use it for a different purpose. But a good thing, the police were on top of their game. We did everything humanly possible to make sure that it does not generate to a different scenario where it will go out of control.
You know, let me show what a crank said years ago. He said, after listening to 2 accounts of one accident, you begin to wonder about history. What do I mean? You are wondering who to believe here. Is it the people or the police? But the CAN Secretary General, his name is Reverend Eli Shama, said those who went out on the planned day were not supposed to be the original members who were to process to Government House.
Yes.
So where did the other group come from?
Well, the thing is, we must, first of all, the question is, do people have the right to protest? The answer is yes. For instance, if you feel, if you have any grievance and you want the government or the authority to be aware of it, you can apply that you want to let the people know, to draw attention to your plight. But it must be done in a way that it will not breach public peace, which is what we have always been talking about. That protest itself is not a problem, but the modus operandi that you apply to carry out the protest is what usually brings about the problem. Now, in this case, the police, according to the man we just listened to, the spokesman, said actually there was indeed an application to that effect, but it was turned down. Now, before they got back, because where we blame?
Don't abbreviate it. Othman Abubakar, that's the name of this one, said it was turned down because the police said, please understand the volatile situation.
Yes, what I'm going to say is that what this, give me his name again, the Kalma, what ought to have done.
Reverend Elisha Shama.
Where the mistake is, where I personally see the mistake is that you have a planned protest. A date has been slated for it. I don't know, how come the people went out even when police granted them a no answer? What I'm saying first, that it is possible they anticipated that the police were going to grant it, which is why people went out on the street. What I'm saying, therefore, is that...
or CAN members.
But what he's saying is that the people who came out are not the original people. So let me bury this, Shola. What I'm saying first is that when you have a planned protest and a date has been slated, hold on until all areas have been addressed, all gray areas have been addressed. If, for instance, the police had granted it, or as they didn't grant it, they went back to them to say, sheath your sword, in quote, don't go out yet. We have not witnessed it. It is possible they already told them in advance.
No, please.
So, which is what I'm trying to say.
No, I hope you don't corrupt the discussion.
No, I'm not corrupting it.
There is something I want to recall. I heard that police spokesman saying that by the time the letter, I hope there was no communication breakdown. By the time the message got down, word had already gone out.
Which is what I'm saying. Who gave the word?
How did that happen?
Thank you, Sola, for coming in. That didn't happen.
From the pulpit.
Yes.
Word had already gone out. This protest will go on.
Announcing the protest.
As I'm saying, but which means they anticipated a police approval, which is wrong. That's why the count was wrong in that, by giving word out fast.
But that wrong is what is giving rise to this.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we are saying.
We must guard against it. But it's the modus operandi I was talking about.
Yeah, it comes then to the fact that there must be a kind of, there must be a way in which communication will be strengthened between the police and the society and the civil society. Let's put the church as part of the civil society. Because if it's that lack of proper understanding of the process that may be leading to this. But I want to say something. I'm coming to this. I'm emotionally attached to this in the sense that I lived in Yola. I served in Yola. I lectured.
You are a Christian.
I'm a Christian, but
good. Thank you.
I know the way the state was in those days. I want to tell you that it was volatile? So peaceful. Yeah. I started as a UCOM member. I was under a very staunch Muslim principal, a legal practitioner. This school. But you could see the love between, I will say it to him, to his credit, the late Bobo Uma, who was later the chief judge of the state. Oh, really? He was the principal of College for Legal Studies where I studied, where I served. Yeah. You could see love. This man took all of us, Christians, Muslim, everybody. And that was the way, Adamawa is almost like mini Nigeria. You have so many ethnic groups. You're talking of Yunguru, you're talking of Bachama, Fulani, Bula, so many. But this kind of problem has not really been, it was not there. Yeah. So that's why all stakeholders in the state.
Until when?
Well, perhaps it started with the Boko Haram Wahala, then the Hatsem Wahala.
I imagine Afolabi will help us out.
Yes. I think people
I think we must understand the soil in which we are going to plant any seed. It is very important for us to understand the soil in which we are going to plant any seed. The situation we have now, isn't it, as much as I agree that you have freedom of, freedom to protest guaranteed by the Nigerian Constitution. But do we have, as it is now, the system to protect us?
Hang the question. Let me quickly take, Alabi is reaching us from Ogun State. Alabi, welcome.
This is my first time of calling you. All
right, we have first timers. It's your evening. Let's go.
Okay. What happened is that the man that spoke now that is up in Yola need to have been to all the parts of Nigeria.
That's great.
The situation of those days are now different from the situation we are facing now. The youth are angry. There is tension everywhere. So the best thing that police will always do is that to negotiate with people, okay, we will support, but don't go on rampage. Please manage your protest. If not, the people will always say that police are siding one side. The situation, I've been to Kubi, I've been to Diu, Maduguri, all those states in Nigeria. Even when I was Prime Pepe, I always speak with Fulani in Futu Ajokoto, and they will help me in the night. But today, it can no longer be. We don't trust ourselves again. So it is police that will know how to manage the situation. If people want to go on protest, they should talk to them. Please, we will support you, but don't let it escalate. Thank you, I'm very grateful.
Many thanks.
So as I was saying, I even sent this on Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University of Lagos, Lagos State, Lagos branch, WhatsApp today, that caution is not cowardice. Do you understand, sir? Caution is not cowardice. There are engagements you can use in this. In fact, you can even organize a press conference. Take, for instance, you are even protesting. If suicide bombers, about 3 or 4, have been planted in your midst, how do you explain this? How do you explain the level of casualties in exercising your freedom? Caution is not cowardice. The hostility and the volatility of the environment today.
Now let's expand this discussion and talk to our religious leaders and rulers. What we say from the pulpit is very important. At a critical time like this.
Most of them are speaking out of emotion personally because, let me be honest with you, psychologically, most people on the pulpit today are being extremely traumatized.
When you expect them to be restrained?
They should be restrained. In the usage of words, in your choice of words, you must understand the volatility and the hostility of the environment as somebody who is supposed to be the custodian of the conscience of the society. Because tongues, whatever you utter, tongues in your position is powerful. The weighty nature of whatever you say in these circumstances is powerful. So we must ensure that peace is what we want in Nigeria. I appreciate freedom. I appreciate freedom and all that to protest. But how do you explain casualties in this instance? Because I want you to know that in every 12 Judas we always emerge. So if you are protesting in this manner and about 4 or 5 suicide members...
Is that as a given rule? out
It's
of
not.
every 12.
It is not. It is not.
Is it
It is not.
written
In the
rule?
there are law is about exceptions.
Look,
in the
you can
situation
gather
with
12, actually you can gather 12 and have all of them saintly.
yes,
It's not every time you have a Judah.
But in the situation we are in Nigeria today, in as much as we are on Journalist Hangout as the loudest noise, as the loudest voice in Nigeria about, trying to instill discipline and preach against, what is bad against this nation. Don't think that so many
Preach
people...
on, brother.
So don't think a lot of people...
There will be Judas amongst us. Right?
Don't think... No, as people that are watching...
No, we are not up to 12.
We are not.
Okay, we are not.
We are the purveyor of information. We are the custodian of the journalistic essence of Nigeria at the moment. But don't be surprised. Those who sponsor evil against Nigeria are not happy with our
Good, Shola. At this point, let me throw this. It's not a spanner, but let me drive this in.
You're welcome.
So many religious big men in the country want to do great things for God, but they are afraid of doing little things like live together in harmony. They hardly can do that.
No,
So what's the essence of the great
I
things?
think it's against even the spirit of religion. If you cannot bring harmony to the society, what is the essence? Religion, if Islam is peace, Christianity is love, everything has to do with the perfection
no
of
faith
goodness.
under the sun
Yes.
mandates anybody to kill.
Yes, so
for
I
any
think
reason, no
it
faith.
boils down to the need for our religious leaders to be, aware of their responsibilities. To not only themselves, but also to the laity, the followers, the church, the mosque, or the faith, the people of the faith. And I'm not distinguishing a particular faith now. All of us, whether Muslim or Christians or animists or whatever, the responsibility to you, to the society, should always be at the back of your mind, because you can only practice religion where there is peace. If you want to live or you want to exist, there must
Charles,
be peace.
in taking this home,
Yes.
I'm sharing this with you on the WhatsApp
Group.
No, not
Platform.
a group, a platform. A high up man of God posted something to me to the effect that President Buhari is planning to Islamize Nigeria. I don't know if you heard that.
One of my
But
colleagues
that to
mentioned,
me, on the inside, preposterous and very unfortunate,
Insensitive.
coming to,
from that kind of
and
pedigree.
do you know how many people the virus would have been?
Yeah, you see, I think one of them mentioned about people preaching based on emotion. There's absolutely nothing wrong with men of God, whether on the Islamic faith or Christian faith, talking about what goes on even in government. In Bible days, I should just let you know, there was a fusion of the state and the clergy. As at that time, there were no national assemblies. So it was the clergy represented, which was prophetic by nature, was the one that acted as check on the state, which of course you had kings as at that time. So when kings did what was wrong, the clergy will always tell them, reprimand them where it was necessary and correct them. But today you don't have a clear fusion of the state and the clergy, but they are still very, very important.
Yeah.
In some Muslim countries, there's a fusion of the state and the clergy over there. So which is why I say this very. But what we need to do for us is that before you can say something, because as somebody has said that, because people listen to you, your word sometimes at the pulpit is gospel. A lot of people will listen to it, and then they don't. Most cases is not what the Bible says according to my pastor. In most cases, people tell me my pastor says.
That's
my
all
pastor
we
says.
hear,
My pastor
according
says.
to my pastor.
But the question of what does the word of God say in this one? And then let me say this is that when you preach to people, to your congregation, make sure even your information is high up there, so that when you give them what we teach them the right way and not to
all right, we'll
them.
bury this here, but not before telling you this. A bottle of brandy, assuming this was a bottle of brandy, will only mess me up. But if this was a Bible, if I mess with it, I'm going to mess with millions of people.
Right.
It pays for our religious rulers to understand.
Leaders. Religious leaders.
Did I say rulers?
You say rulers. They don't rule, they lead.
I'm sorry. Okay, then.
So language is also very important.
Now, let's go to another topic. The upsetting politics of electric power distribution in our country is more than enough to declare a national emergency in the energy sector. Distribution companies, or DISCOs as they are called, have become the behemoth in the power chain. The generating companies, aka GenCos, and the transmission company are only playing second fiddle. The DISCOs continue their feuding with the energy minister, Barrister Babatunde Fashola, threatening to resell the power assets to the federal authorities or any other interested buyer. Remember, the Jonathan administration supposedly privatized the defunct PHCN on November the 1st, 2013. We are a long, long way from home. Shola, in reverse order, we are a long, long way from home.
You know, when this topic came up, I was just wondering, do I need to recall, I don't know the time I really enjoyed as a Nigerian, what I can call regular or functional power supply.
You can when you are asleep.
I now begin to wonder, is it at this very critical stage when the world is moving far, far ahead that we can't even have, you know, we've been using the word synergy today. I think the issue of synergy also has to come in. A situation where it's not as if, we can't even say that all hands are on deck as far as this problem of epileptic power supply is concerned. Those we look up to help us solve the problem, to solve the problems, that seems to be a kind of disarray. So the problem now is, what do we expect the masses of Nigerians to feel in a situation where even when you thought things have started moving up, then this kind of things coming up. What is the hope of the masses? It's like we are seeing two elephants fighting now, from the people authorized to monitor, to regulate the way the thing is done, and the people who are given the contracts or whatever, the field to operate. There is no synergy. There is no cooperation. Every day, one problem leading to the other. I think we have to look at this holistically. Where are we really going? You know, you travel elsewhere, you see the way, energy is, let me use the word manipulated to better the lot of the people in so many ways.
I take you quickly to Ghana.
Yes. Even common code,
it's not common.
Let me use, because that's
less.
Okay, maybe I take my word, but
Please.
It is
in terms of population.
It
less
is just disheartening that at this stage of our national development, we are still grappling with things like this. So my own take from, right now is to let these people know it goes beyond the pecuniary element, the money element. We have to let that be subsumed in the need for us to know that this altruism in
Brother Afolabi, hear this. Oh, no, I know you have, but let me add this to what you're about to say. Now, if we divested PHCN, dissolved PHCN, as we did the Nigeria Airways, and we come up with DISCOs, GenCos, and so on. Okay, we have Patrick here, Patrick Akute in Lagos. Welcome, good evening.
Yeah, God bless you, sir.
Bless you.
Yeah. The issue of electricity distributor. Hello?
You are on, sir.
So, if they want to quit the job, let them quit. We don't even want them at all. Now, if the people in the Middle East, they are crying that they supply them 8 hours in a day. Now, here in Nigeria, they cannot supply 1 hour. And they are talking of quitting the job. They just mess up the whole something. We don't want them again. Okay. Let them give us our prepaid meter. That is the solution to this problem.
Yeah.
Many
thanks.
Need them. They should focus on their job. If they cannot do the job again,
Sorry about that. Afolabi, was it necessary to have dissolved PHCN, given what we have now?
It's quite unfortunate the situation we find ourselves. I think first we must paint a picture. For most Nigerians now grew up with up NEPA now. I hope you know. No child.
No, for older people like us, up ECN.
Some of you
were born at a time Nigeria can be described as a Beck's moment.
Yeah.
And again, there's this saying that when you stay so long in the darkness, you begin to see through the darkness. We are used to things like this.
Yeah, I'm not seeing through darkness. So.
No, that is the philosophical. When you stay so long, it's a philosophical concept. When you stay so long in the darkness, you begin to see. You begin to see it as normal.
You get used to it.
That is the situation we are in Nigeria. All over the world, power is essential.
Afolabi, power is the answer to our wahala.
Yes.
So if you have been privileged to step out of Nigeria, you realize that a generator is something that is indescribable. I've never seen that in the US.
I hear it is the only generators are made for our environment, and
the industry is booming over there.
You have generator barons and diesel merchants in this country.
Yeah. And again, back to your question, there is this saying that a goat owned by everybody, in most cases, die of starvation.
Not true.
Nigerians are not used to, because let me give you an instance. In multinational.
No, who be the goat?
No, I'm using.
I will follow. Who is the goat?
those who are in charge of. So, and again, they've been able to understand the Nigerian system that look, when we inflict pains on them in our own way, we'll make more money. They will ensure that prepaid meters are not, in fact, given to people. All sort of, in fact, estimated bills.
Prepaid meters would be the way to go. I migrated from a postpaid environment to a prepaid regimen. You know, 5,000. I realized that 5,000 naira electricity will take me throughout the month. I'm telling you, but it disciplines you. There are at times certain bulbs must not be on.
I was telling you about how we shut down.
So let me give you this. If multinationals, and I want you to know that Nigeria, the problem of Nigeria, if multinationals are being controlled, managed by Nigerians, they will owe workers. It's a fact of life. We parade some of the most useless employers of labor in the world. Highly insensitive. I'm talking about multinationals.
The welfare of
that deals essentially with oil. They pay in dollars. If Nigerians are managing it, they will hold people.
Charles, but before you add anything to that, discos are feuding with the minister. Is the minister stubborn, or is he not playing ball?
No, do
you understand my jargon?
Yes. If you look at there are two sides to this coin. I don't know if there's a third. The two sides are.
Every coin has three sides.
Yeah, the one that's on the edge.
The edge
I refuse to see the edge on this one. I've seen two. The Gencos, or the distributor, there are so many complaints they have reeled out. One of them is that, one, that they're not making profits, which is debatable. Number two is that the records that were given to them as at the time of the privatization by BP, the records were inaccurate.
I don't know why you bought into that.
No, I know. I'm reeling them. I'm telling you the complaint.
Did they take?
Yeah, that's right.
Why
because
they
thought they were expecting mega profits.
Box, yeah.
Now, even the one that's even sensitive, personally to me, is the one said by Tukru Modibo, the owner of Jos. He said, at the time he bought the Jos PSN at that time was for $82 million.
Yeah.
That he's ready to give it out at 72. So he's going to discount about $10 million discount. But the question is that that's for 5 years, between 2013 and now. Are you saying you have not made more than $10 million? So now say, okay, give it for 10 million, 72 jale, as Yoruba says, give it for 72 jale. But you see, we must look at the issue critically. I think for now, when you are operating a system, a computer system, sometimes it can be saying a system not responding. What do? You have two options. To either wait for it to respond, or you shut down and then you restart. In restarting, the thing gives you a free breath of life. We have come to a system where the electric sector is not responding. What we need to do, don't let us wait for. We need to shut down.
If you address a part of my question, is the minister stubborn?
No, it's not.
Or he's not playing ball?
No, he's not stubborn. It's not about playing ball. I think minister himself. I want to go. I've looked at the case critically. I think the minister he have become right now is now on the side of Nigerians. Unlike before that, he bought into a dummy that they sold to him, that the more you pay, you have to pay more to enjoy more. He bought that dummy. Yeah. Even the vice president also bought that dummy. But now you could see, even from his body language and his utterances, that he wants to work for Nigeria, and which is, of course, going to be good for us. As I speak, if they want to resell, not all of them, the one in Ibadan, John Ayodele, is saying that he wants his money back. He says he wants a refund. So we must all sit down to say, okay, as somebody from Akute called, I personally don't want them anymore. But everyone talking about when you bring the prepaid will not be the cure-all. I tell you why. The infrastructure has decayed beyond, as we speak now, beyond redemption. If you give us prepaid, they don't generate, they don't transmit. The prepaid can do nothing. The prepaid is only to regulate your energy consumption. So if there's no energy to consume, the prepaid cannot work. So even if they give all the other people
I'm told,
prepaid.
I may be wrong, the prepaid is like your telephone.
No, it's to regulate your consumption, but you have to have light for the prepaid to regulate.
I agree, but then it's like the principle of the telephone. If you put money, you go get light.
Yes, exactly. That's it. Because even I was telling Shola, and I said there was a particular office I had in Nogba. As at that time, when they brought the prepaid meter, we're supposed to pay 60,000 naira for about 24 months. So what we did then is that if I want to recharge for about 3,500, they take the 500 back, okay? Then the 3,000 will be for my energy. And then if you shut down the AC, the energy was 7 or 3,000 was 7 for about 3 months. But they don't want that because the estimated billing is where they are making a kill, which is why I said no to.
Charles, your namesake is online from Delta. I greet you, Charles. Charlie, let's go.
He's gone.
He's not. Maybe in NEPA take light.
Okay, for his side. Or telephone take light.
But you know, I want to raise this issue because
Charles
is back. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Charles from Warri.
Yeah.
How are you?
Give us light.
Hello?
Let's go, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, Charles, the question I want to ask is that before the invite of this administration, the NEPA were paying NEPA to PSCN, not to DISCO. The tariff used to be less than 12 naira. And they were telling us because the tariff was in unit form, we were paying money, and this DISCO look at the tariff that they're not getting money. They've gone from that less than 12 naira to 31 naira now, like in Delta State, 31 naira. So if we continue to increase tariff for the DISCO, and the time we will not have light, or maybe to about 50% or 100%, do you think Nigeria can pay for the tariff? Because now we are not getting the money, and the tariff we pay compared to many other countries, Nigeria is higher in tariff. 31 naira today, the light we are having, we are paying close to 8 to 9, 10,000 monthly. I'm speaking of Delta State. 9 to 10,000 monthly. So if they increase this tariff, or maybe we have 50% light, I'm not sure Nigeria can pay on that tariff. Thank you.
Many thanks.
But the thing is, if you allow more hands in the system, there will be a robust competition. What they have formed now, the association they have formed is that they have formed a monopoly where they are now taking all of us for granted.
Kind of mafia.
What he's saying, what Charles is saying, may not be right if you now open up the field to have more people coming, more players coming. You now have robust competition. Competition can drive the tariff down.
Charles, which is why I have a problem, Shala, too, and Folabi. I have a problem with, the problem started from scratch. Who did you sell the discos to? You must ask that question.
I think, as you have said, the process of privatization itself, to an extent, is faulty. There are a lot of things.
And so it can be further from the truth. When you say the discos were bought by boys.
Yes, and I must say this clearly. If the basis of why you purchased this, or in fact bought this thing, was not to establish dividend of democracy for Nigeria, then there is trouble. Remember, this administration came for change. And one of the scorecard is at least constancy of power supply. So there is no way Babatunde Raji Fashola, who is the minister in charge, will not have an issue with them. That in the scorecard of this administration, can Nigerians answer this question clearly? That they are not in darkness?
No, hold on. Afolabi, be very fair.
Yes.
Here we are supposed to sit on the fence. I know sometimes the fence will sway
this
way,
weak.
Yes.
Not able to carry. If discos came on board in 2013, are you saying this administration should take the rap?
No.
Good.
But government is a
Shall I-
continuum.
No,
Government is a continuum.
I've heard
Government
that
is a
phrase.
continuum.
I've heard that phrase
No,
before.
government is a continuum.
No,
For this
come on.
government to now take it
come
from
on.
the last-
It's like
The
Charles,
process-
it's like- hold on. It's like erecting a building.
process-
If the foundation is wrong, you cannot get
That
it
is why I'm
right.
saying that the system is not responding. Let's shut down and start all over.
The process, and again, it was legalized. Then the license has been issued at that time. It has been backed up. Then
So the government
legalized.
has no right. The government must work according to
Orderly.
it. Yes.
Afalabi, take it home because we are coasting home.
Well, as far as dividend of democracy is concerned, and for foreign and internal investment, constant power supply is key to Nigerian growth and development. We cannot excuse this from Nigerian growth and development. So in as much as we know that we want the best, until the best is done, the right thing can hardly, be achieved when we do it wrongly. So if it needs that we must in fact, take a complete overhauling. Reinvent the process of privatization. Because it will help democracy. In as much as we believe in this, Nigeria will come
be better for it.
Before we were saying Ghana must go. Now Nigeria must go to Ghana.
All right.
It's an antithesis of development.
I was just,
how do you close?
reading through the exchange of brickbats from both sides, I discovered that it seemed to be something more inherent. There is a lot of personality.
It gets something we will never see.
There are some statements made by Odunton representing ANED saying, things were exorbitant and overpriced. Things being overpriced and all those things. But the consumers should be on the front burner of whatever is happening between the ministry
because
and
the customer is always key. The customer is always right.
And also, a lot of Nigerians depend on electricity. The welder out there needs this thing. The hairdresser. The economy is not moving.
There's no gainsaying this thing. It's not about a miracle or an open heaven somewhere.
No, not rocket science.
Give us 20-hour electricity.
18, even take it by 18.
Most of our problems will be gone.
Solved.
Charles Idehol, thank you for your time. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend if you can.
And I will send the bill to you.
Send the bills to us. Many thanks.
Electricity problem.
Yeah, and Shola Jewusi. Yeah. Okay, so but I have a problem with Friday. Why is a Friday so close to a Monday and a Monday is so far from Friday? How do I have a trouble?
So it depends on whether you put on the front or from the back.
Just thank God it's Friday.
Okay, that's it on Journalist Hangout for today and the week. You may also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same. But meantime, I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Bless you.